Hello and welcome to episode 10 of the Can As podcast. As always, I'm Victor and I am joined by Celso.
Hello there.
Wonderful. And then we'll talk a lot about, there's a lot of hockey, so we're definitely going to spend most of the time talking about hockey today. We'll do a quick touch base on soccer, football, basketball, the typical ones. So there's not like the tennis is done. Canada was eliminated right away, so there's no point in talking about the Davis Cup. And then soon, next month, we'll be talking about the Australian Open, so that'll be pretty exciting. There'll be lots of stuff to talk about still. Yes. So perfect. So super quick. Let's start. Let's a little bit of soccer, because I do personally, for me, there's two people that I want to focus on the most. One of the men and one of the women. So let's start. We always start with the men. Let's start with the women this week. Jessie Fleming has continually played the 90-plus minutes for her team in Chelsea. And Chelsea's a deep team, and they just won the FA Cup for the Women's League. Like, she is really turning into and cementing herself in that starter role for that team. Nice, and that is a good, deep team. Very deep team. And another thing, so unfortunately Sinclair did not win the Ballon d'Or for the women. Super unfortunate. But Bev Priestman won Coach of the Year.
Nice.
Yep. And I'm not sure if the goalies one was announced. I don't remember where I saw Bev Priestman winning it, because I still know there's different awards that they can win. Yeah. So one of them, she hasn't won it yet, but she's one of 6 or 7 nominees to win it all. I don't see how anybody can not vote Bev Priestman, though, if we're going to be completely honest. Just what she's done with the national program this year has just been outstanding, obviously. And then Stephanie LeBay, man. For me, Stephanie LeBay is the best goalkeeper this year. She had the best year statistically, I guess, is what I can really say about that. So I do definitely see both Bev Priestman and Stephanie LeBay winning their awards. But Bev won something recently, so it's and actually I just saw news, was it yesterday or today, that Alicia Chapman was named to the world's best roster this year. So I think they released a starting 11, both men and women. Yeah. And Lawrence was nominated as the best. I think she was put as right back.
Nice.
So that's pretty huge too.
Is pretty huge, yeah.
So she was, in their eyes, the best right back in the world this year, which I don't question it. So we again, Christine Sinclair isn't at the level that she used to be, but she still carried this country for so long. I don't understand how she still has a back that works. She's been carrying this country for so long, It's nuts, man. So, the women are making us proud, as per usual. I mean, a year from, after winning Olympic gold, there's nothing they can do to not make us proud right now. It's just been truly remarkable. And then we'll quickly touch base on the men. And I really only want to talk about Davies. David is continuing his, scoring streak and whatnot. But Davies got a pretty big, I don't know if it's accomplishment, because, he didn't necessarily accomplish anything to do it. But a pretty good commendation or commemoration, whatever it is. Anyways, ESPN released its list of top 100 players in the world. And then Davies cracked the list as the second best left back in the world, behind Robertson from Scotland. The guy, I think he's the left back for Liverpool, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Heck of a player, don't get me wrong. And I'm obviously very biased, and I think, no, Davies is better because he's younger and just, has more of an impact on the game. But
you said
Davies
top 100.
ESPN's top 100 list.
So where is he in the 100 then?
I don't know exactly where he is in the 100. It's a very good question. I'll pull up the thing right here. But he is the second best left back in the world, supposedly. So it doesn't necessarily say he's not in the top 10. Yeah, I don't actually really know. He's part of, Bayern had 8 of their players represented in the top 100 players in the world, which that's pretty crazy, man. Chelsea had 12 along with Man City. PSG had 9. Liverpool and Real had 7. Barca and Man U had 5. And Atletico Madrid had 4. So, yeah. So, the ESPN FC's top 100, their best players per position is Jan Oblak from Atletico Madrid. Achraf Hakimi from PSG as a right back. Center back, Ruben Diaz, Man City. Left back, Andy Robertson, Liverpool. Center mid, N'Golo Kante from Chelsea. Kevin De Bruyne as the attacking mid out of Man City. In Belgium, sorry. as well. The best winger was Sadio Mane from Liverpool and Senegal. And then forward Messi, PSG, Argentina. And then the striker was Lewandowski, Bayern Munich, Poland. So, I mean, that's a pretty damn good lineup. And
pretty good, yeah.
Alphonso Davies was the second best there.
Nice.
Which is pretty insane. I can see 2 Canadians being in the top 100 next year. And I think it's going to be Davies and David. I think David does a lot more for club than country at this current moment. Not saying he hasn't before, like previously. Like he had the goal scoring record for Canada or something. Like I think it was like 10 goals in 9 games, or 11 and 10. Like he had 1 more goal than the game played at one point, which was absolutely incredible. Like, and it's not like he's just playing against like the Vatican every single week. Like he's actually playing like somewhat decent opponents, right? But we'll see. Right. I can see 2 Canadians cracking that list, and then for women. Honest to God, I can see about 5 or 6 being in the top 100 for sure. Maybe even top 50. Like, we got some good promising women coming up too. Like, another huge news from the women too. Julia Grosso signed to play with Juventus.
Ooh.
Julia Grosso has left the University of Texas Longhorns. Well, graduated. Sorry, not necessarily left. She graduated, so now she obviously has to go play elsewhere. And she chose to play out in Juventus.
Nice.
I don't really know necessarily the football scene out in Italy for women. I haven't heard much about it, to be completely honest with you. But it's still a formidable club that she's going to go to. And then, if I'm not mistaken, they have similar facilities than the men. So they share facilities. I think that's it. I don't have anything else to add for soccer. So, anything you want to add?
No, not really.
The window's at the end of January, so we're going to have a lot of fun watching that. Away to Honduras, home to U.S., away to El Salvador. So we'll talk more about that. Probably the week before we'll do a similar thing, I'm thinking, like a pregame show. And then a pregame preview kind of thing. We'll probably recap it the Wednesday before the Thursday games. And then we'll do a recap the next Friday, just recapping the entire window. So, because, I'm so pumped for that. I'm so nervous and I'm so pumped.
Man, yeah.
Canada is still in first place in CONCACAF, folks, just so you all know. We're still in first place in the World Cup qualification, ranked 40th in the world.
And I think the worst we can do is like 4th, right?
Technically, the worst we can do is still 5th or 6th. Like, mathematically, we're not guaranteed a top 4 finish. However, I do think like top 3 is going to be tough because only 1st and 4th only separated by 2 points, whereas 4th and 5th is, I believe, separated by 7. That's Jamaica and Panama, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But Jamaica's coming up. Jamaica is like starting to do quite well. So hopefully Canada gets to play Jamaica at home. But that's in the next window, so not this one. But I stand by what I said. Canada has a legitimate chance at securing a spot in the World Cup after this window. It sounds a lot easier said than done, but it is. If you win the 3 games, you're almost mathematically guaranteed to make it in. That's just simple facts. Like they would separate themselves from the States even more, and then they would only be making more ground against others because Panama and Mexico play each other, and then I don't know if the Mexico and the States do, but I do know that they're like Costa Rica, Panama, and Mexico. They each play each other twice.
I think they played already.
Well, they played in the last window, right?
Yeah.
So they might get the last window where they play each other.
Yeah, maybe.
But this is what I recall correctly. Mexico, Panama, Costa Rica, they are 4th, 5th, and 2nd or something like that, or 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever it is. They play each other they are playing each other in the windows. So they're going to each play each other once. So that's going to be more points. So mathematically speaking,
this window
there is a legitimate chance Canada can get it done and clinch it. But we'll talk more about that later.
Right.
So, super quick to the NBA. The Raptors are still not doing well, but this is now I think we've really figured out what the Raptors are, and definitely I'm not upset. They just need to figure out who the superstar for that team is going to be. So it will be interesting. Like their most recent game they won against the Washington Wizards. It's better to win than to lose, obviously, but yeah, still not doing super great. They're down to 12th now. They are 11-13 as a recording on Monday night. So, not great, but it's expected, man. Like, Nick Nurse is still a hell of a coach, and then they're going to be developing for the future.
Yeah, like, to be able to coach this team.
Yeah.
To I guess, the record that they have right now.
By no means are they, like, a basement team.
No.
So, do you think they'll be sellers at the deadline? They have pieces. If they find a way of trading away Pascal Siakam, like, I think Siakam's
the
decent.
only person I would probably, like, trade. Yeah.
Right, and I think so as well. But like, you have to also make sure you gotta get something good in return.
Yeah.
Not like what the freaking Celtics were asking for, or no, not what the 76ers were asking for Simmons. Like, you're not gonna get that for Siakam. But like, probably a first and a good young player for Siakam. I think that's reasonable. He was a massive part of our championship.
He was a massive part.
Like, massive part. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Siakam would be the only player to.
I agree. I think Siakam is the only one, and I do think Siakam can play well if he has a legitimate superstar with him. Like, he is a very, very strong supporting cast player, and his defense, I would honestly put him as elite defensively, like one of the better defensive players in the league, and you need that to win championships. It'd be really interesting if they could find a way of like trading with the Golden State Warriors and like bringing Andrew Wiggins and a first over for Siakam. Obviously, I'm being
probably
like,
not a
super.
First, but if we could get like someone like Andrew Wiggins, that'd be at least a little bit helpful for
with
Toronto.
The NBA as well. Though they only have 2 rounds in the draft, so like the second round is almost redundant. Really, like not many players come out of the second round, so it's like for them to trade for a pick and make it worth it. Golden State Warriors are probably going to win the championship this year, or at least make it to the conference finals. Anything in the first round is going to be late first round. So even then, it's not going to be a very high pick or a very necessarily good pick, too. So, I don't know, man. Siakam, if Siakam were to get traded, they need to have a good return for him because he's not useless by any means. But he's also still not, like, he's not the best, you know?
Yeah.
He's not how he used to be. He's not what we're projecting him to do. But and then the NFL... Yeah, I think we're good with the NBA, so we'll move on to the NFL. Chase Claypool, again. So, Chuba Hubbard, actually, let's start with him. He got the starters roll back, hey?
Yeah.
McCaffrey's out for the year.
Again,
yeah. So, Chuba Hubbard is back to being a starter. I don't know. Like, we had him in our fantasy league. My buddy and I had him in our fantasy league for a little bit. And he wasn't putting up huge points for us, but he's still worth the while. Like, in the Carolina offense now with Cam Newton, with a different quarterback, I think it'll be an interesting way of just to see how they use him. But he's guaranteed.
He's a rookie too, so can't really expect like the world for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Him,
so
but.
I think he'll do okay, honestly.
Yeah.
I believe in him. So it'll be interesting just to see how things progress though, you know? Like it'll be an interesting look to say the least. But that's good for him. Like, he has yet another opportunity. He is behind one of the best, if not the best, running back in the league right now. Him and McCaffrey and Henry are number 1 and 2. I don't think anybody can argue that right now. There's a couple like really good 3rd, 4th, 5th best players, like Jones. I'd put Dalvin Cook when healthy is pretty good.
Jonathan Taylor's
playing ridiculous.
Now.
So. It'll be interesting. Chuba's not obviously at that quality yet, but he can get there with practice and whatnot, and he's a good player. So it'll be an interesting pickup for sure, especially the depth leagues, like leagues with a bunch of running backs. Yeah, it's a good call to pick him up. And then Chase Claypool didn't have necessarily the strongest of showings in the last week. I think he put less than 60 yards up, so not too many. But you have Big Ben throwing the football, right? I heard somewhere that will be his last year, that he's definitely contemplating retirement after this season.
I think he's like gone off the team right now. So like not gone, but like he's not going to be playing.
Who, Roethlisberger?
Yeah.
Interesting. I had no idea about that one.
Yep.
But yeah, like this will, regardless, I think from what I heard, Big Ben isn't back next year. And I think it's okay. Like, go out on a high, kind of like, you don't, like Eli Manning kind of had to go out. Like, he knew it was his time, so he left kind of thing. I think it's probably tough to realize that you've played the game for so long that you love, you know. You've been so good for so long, and then now you're looking at your gameplay, you're like, damn, I can't believe that I did that. But it'll be, like we've always said, Chase Claypool will be better with a better quarterback. If he was there during Big Ben's prime, then God, that would have been insane. Yeah. Unfortunately, he's not. So, and then Pittsburgh has a real problem at QB next year. Like, once his face is back up, like they have Watkins. Yeah, but he's like super, like, I don't know, Haskins, Dwayne Haskins. That's who it is. They have Haskins, who's not very good. Like, he's just complete super immature and just doesn't do anything like that. And then they have one of the worst backups in the league, and what's his face? You remember his name? He's so bad that I forget his name. Mason Rudolph. Yeah. Thank you. Just not very good, unfortunately. But no, it's not Mason Rudolph. No, is it Mason Rudolph?
I don't think his first name is Mason.
Kyle Rudolph. Mason Rudolph plays for the Vikings. What am I doing, man? Okay, well, even then, I'm not entirely positive. We're going to fact check this right now. But anyways. And then, you know what? We have this really decent... Oh, it is Mason Rudolph.
It is Mason Rudolph.
Oh, I'm a genius then. Never mind. I'm smart. Kyle Rudolph is the other one. I'm just out of my mind right now. And then, who is the New England Patriots wideout? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, he is... Oh, come on, man. Help me look it up, because he is actually doing quite well. And he's playing, like, the Pats might actually make the playoffs this year, which is absolutely freaking fantastic and very exciting to see for me. And he's taking a big part, man, and he's a Canadian on that team. So it's been nice to see, to say the least. So they play this week. They play tonight. And then I'm going to look at his stats from last week, because there is most certainly a Canadian playing for the Pats right now. And that's been pretty freaking fantastic to see, to say the least. But anyways, are you looking it up right now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, keep on looking it up. And then, as I mentioned this multiple times now, they will be having a friend over to talk about.
Yeah, N'Keal Henry.
N'Keal Henry?
Yeah, or N'Keal Harry. Sorry.
Harry. Yeah, Harry. He's been okay. He wasn't necessarily on the lineup the last week, but he is like a big, like, he is a part of that offense. And the Pats are 8-4, one of the best records in the AFC, which is actually shocking to me, to be completely honest. They're first in the AFC right now, and if they beat Buffalo, they are most certainly first in the AFC. But it'll be it's interesting, to say the least. They haven't had their bye yet, so I think they'll have their bye next or soon. They're the hottest team in the NFL right now, hey? 6-game win streak.
Yep.
Second is in their division, and it's Miami. They have a 5-game win streak. They started the season. How do they? Okay, so 5-game win streak. So they started the season 1-7, and now they're 6-7. Too little, too late. It feels like, but it'll be interesting to see for sure. But yeah, like, good Canadian content, man. Like, we had this St. Jude guy playing for the Washington football team as a cornerback too, and like one of their main cornerbacks as well. So it's nice to see that there's more Canadian content in the NFL, especially Canadian players content. Like, but still though, like, more Canadian talent, I guess, is what we can say, right? Because it's. I don't know. I've said this multiple times. I think the NFL is, in my opinion, by far the better league than the CFL. I just think the players in the NFL are significantly better. And I like watching Canadians, and I'll try to go around and watch Canadians. But even the CFL doesn't have that many Canadians in, like, key positions. You know what I mean? Like, It's like, we have, like, linemen that are all Canadians. Like, no offense at all to the offensive or defensive line. They're crucial to watch, but you don't necessarily go to watch those games to see a good offensive line. You go out there to see, like, big throws by the quarterback, big catches, big runs, and the runs have everything to do with the old line. Let's not even kid ourselves. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, you see the flashier kind of guys.
Yeah.
And I think the NFL provides a lot more of that. And to see that more Canadians are those, like, big flashy kind of guys that are making those plays, that's really nice to see. You know, it's. It makes me quite happy to see it, to watch as a Canadian fan, to say the least. But anything else that you want to touch base on in regards to the NFL?
Not really, no. We basically touched on everything that we were wanting to talk about.
Cool.
It wasn't really that big, I guess.
There's not much really to talk about in the NFL right now.
Chuba's still being Chuba. Claypool still trying to beat Claypool with quarterback troubles.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, sorry, I forgot one thing about soccer. Actually, we're going to go back to the real football now. And Tajon Buchanan was named to the MLS starting or top 11 as well. So that's pretty huge. He's going to Club Brugge now, but it's nice that he left off he finished second in voting for Rookie of the Year.
I think there was like a lot of like players and like coaches that were like wanting him to be like.
So the players voted for him in, like the coaches voted him in. It was the media that voted the American Pepe in. So as like a bunch of people, some people were like, but this is outrageous. Like, yeah, Pepe had an unbelievable year, but the voting was like 60-40 for Buchanan over Pepe.
Yeah.
Or like maybe 50-30 and then 20 for other people. But it wasn't really that close. But the media voting was like absurdly over. Like it was 75-25 for Pepe as opposed to Buchanan. That's what did it for him. But it's interesting. Like it sucks that it goes like that. But oh well.
What can you
media has their opinions, I guess, even though they may be wrong.
Even though they don't actually play, so it's like
right. It's just nuts.
Like whose opinion do you believe more?
It's like who is the clown that had Derek Jeter off of their Hall of Fame ballot? Like, there's one person in the media that decided to not vote him in. Like, just one. He would have been the second unanimous player in, and he should have been a unanimous pick. But the one clown decided to not vote him in. Like, why? It makes absolutely no sense to me.
It does not make sense. No,
but. I guess so. Super quick baseball. The Jays have made a couple big moves,
big signings.
Like they lost Simeon and Ray. I think we both called it. We were hoping them to come back.
Yeah.
But like I think more realistically, they weren't, and I think but we got a good starter. We got an ace in Grossman, and then we signed Barrios to a massive deal. And from my understanding, they're in on Chris Bryant, which is one of the top third basemen in the league right now. Or in the majors, sorry, because there's 2 leagues in the majors. But it'll be interesting. There's still a lot that they have to do. Though. They still need to add one more rotation arm at the absolute minimum and 2 relieving arms. And that's minimum. Losing Simeon is a monstrosity of an offensive loss and also defensive because of like leadership and whatnot. But I do think Biggio can step up and take more of an offensive role and hopefully not be injured all year. But I do see 2 more outfield signings. 2 more outfield signings and 3 more pitching. That's what they would need because I think we saw it last year. Offense didn't win us games every single game. Like we didn't make it in the end because of our pitching, right? So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully they continue to make some good progress, and I'm excited because they're showing that they're not scared of handing out those massive contracts, which is a huge win for us right now, I think.
Yeah.
Especially as fans, seeing a management and an ownership being okay with the big contracts,
wanting to win, spending what you need to spend to get those players that will help you win. Yeah.
So, all right. We have lots about hockey. You were the most excited to talk about hockey this week, so let's let you get started on hockey here.
Okay. So, Oilers are 16-7, I believe. So, still doing pretty decent. But honestly, like the past 2 games, maybe even 3 games, like their start of the game kind of thing, like just starting off super slow and then just playing catch up to at least like win or keep it close is just starting to get a little annoying.
I think in private you and I have spoken, and I've said this multiple times to you, it's like these guys, I'm happy with their record, but they're not as good as their record is indicated at all. And it's because like I think they can be, but their starts are atrocious.
Yeah.
They're like they were saved a couple games by terrific goaltending, thankfully. Surprisingly, or the power play. Like also, so the power play is cold now, right? I'm pretty sure the power play, the penalty kill has outscored our power play in the last few games.
I think so, yeah. Because I think we had a couple shorthanded goals.
How the heck is that okay? Like the power play needs to step up for sure, and they need to start the game in the first minute.
Yes,
they can't start in the first minute of the third period. Like it's starting to get absurd.
It is starting to get annoying, yeah.
How do you think they solve that?
Probably by just like I've heard like around like the around social media and stuff that like the coach should like pump them up and all that stuff. It's like, no, like the coach is there to coach you. Like the players are supposed to be playing the game. Like the coach isn't going to go on the ice and play for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're multi-million-dollar players or million dollar players. You are good to be in like the best league in hockey. Why don't you start like hot right off the bat?
Yeah, that should be motivation itself, I think. And I see that's such an asinine argument. Oh, the coach should do better motivating him. Like, come on, guys. Like, get out of here, dude. Like, you're in a professional league. This is your job. You should be wanting to do your job at all time. Like, I think, honestly, it's just bringing more leadership. I honestly think we need to get some more third and fourth line grinders to come in here and just play. And, like, honestly, maybe the coach can do something. Maybe if one of Draisaitl or McDavid or Nuge or Hyman, like, whoever it is, like, maybe if one of them decide to start late, then bench them for a period. Who cares who it is? Just make a point out of it. Like these starts are never acceptable, and especially not in the playoffs. This is a team that can win in the regular season. We will get swept again in the playoffs if they play like they have in the last 15 games. Not this whole season. Like the last 15 games, they've been just horrific at their starts. I think I
was just being nice with saying the 3. But
I'm sorry. I get so angry watching them play the last little bit, and yeah, I'm happy that they come back, but I'm pissed off that they're making my heart go race and do all that kind of stuff. Like Pittsburgh game, they were completely asleep for the first 2 periods. Seattle game, completely asleep for the first 2 periods. This last game against LA, the entire game they were asleep. There was 2 good players in the entire match, or in the entire game, and it was Nurse and Niemelainen or whatever his name is. Like, this is completely unacceptable.
His, second game?
Yeah, I think he's played like third. Yeah. Because he played against Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
so his third career game. Like, it's not okay.
Being outplayed like on your own team by a player that has played only 3 games, like, come on.
And then, did you see anything about the Toronto Winnipeg gong show from the other day?
Yes.
Like, how embarrassing is that for the league? Like, that's completely absurd. Like, I don't like Toronto's just because they're fans. But, like, at the end of the day, Austin Matthews is a top 10 player in the world. Oh, yeah. How on earth is he getting manhandled like that, and how is that okay?
And the ref is, like, penalty
right there. And it was a 2-minute penalty. That was worse than what McDavid did yesterday.
That's true, too. But, like, and the ref was right there, too. But, like...
I still think it was boarding. It was most certainly boarding, 1,000%. I think there was no malicious intent, and I think he sold the heck out of it. I do think it was a 2-minute call. At the absolute minimum, it was 2 minutes. I do.
No, but
I'm happy they didn't suspend him or fine him, because that's just absurd.
Everyone would have been like charging like the head office.
But we've been saying that for how many years now?
But like,
this league is a joke. The officiating in the Winnipeg Toronto game just showed it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like we get Toronto, we get what you're going through in officiating right now. Like, we get it. Like, it's not okay that Austin Matthews gets that treatment. Like, that is ridiculous.
He was just getting like ragdolled by Dubois, and the ref doesn't even do anything, and then just gives him a penalty too. Like, what?
That's absurd, man. And the reason that it got so insane, like so hectic and chaotic that game, like there's 2 possible suspensions coming from that game. 2-game suspension already for Neil Pionk for I think it was kneeing. And then Spezza, same thing. It was kneeing, but he went for the guy's face when he was down. Like, I don't understand how officials can just get away with murder. Essentially, like, it is completely ridiculous. And yeah, players won't be reffed by the officials. They might as well ref it themselves.
And it's
getting happened. To that. It's basically what happened. It's a joke and an absolute travesty to the league and to the sport. I don't understand how they're still so okay with just I wouldn't even say mediocrity, just complete incompetence. It's a disgrace to the sport. Let's just
like basically beer league refs.
Worse
games right now.
I've had beer league refs better than these idiots. Seriously, what constitutes you needing to be an NHL official? Guarantee you, your IQ cannot be above 80. Like, it has to be below 80 IQ or something. Like, genuinely, these guys know nothing about like how the game has gotten so fast. I do not think we can't have on ice officials anymore. You need to have like something like what soccer does with VAR. Have official in the box upstairs that has access to video replays and call the egregious fouls or like overturn some calls too. You know what I mean? Like it's an absolute joke. The game's gotten way too fast that the officials can't keep up with it anymore.
But that can't that I agree with that. But then there's like penalties that happen right in front of them and they don't call it.
But that's the thing. VAR will catch that.
Exactly, yeah.
A live official saying, "Hey, what are you watching? I'm clearly watching this game right now. Call call it. Call a penalty." Like it's absurd. Like, and I'm like, that's like an extreme. I get it, man. I get it. What I'm saying is super extreme right now, but like something needs to change. Like you're no longer audition. Like what's the point of a sport if your best players aren't going to be shown off? You know what I mean? Like the NFL. They've done everything to protect their quarterbacks. They've done everything to protect like the stars of their league, like the running backs, wide receivers, like eliminated so many different things to just protect them. It got to the point they made a joke. Like Kevin Hart made a joke, I think, on like an NFL broadcast where he pretended to tackle the guy and he's like, "Oh, this is the new NFL, just watch." And then they tackled Kevin Hart, and then he's like, "Give me a pillow, give me a blanket, tuck me in, read me a bedtime story," and it's still a passer interference, or like roughing the passer. But like still, I'd rather that, because then your best players are protected and your best players are being showcased. Right now, it's like your third and fourth line is what's getting showcased, because everybody, like the NHL wants all their players to play at a third or fourth line level. I can tell you, we can have a show for like 5 hours just bashing officials and just giving example after example. Like it's just absurd, and it's not just McDavid and Matthews. It's every single star in this league gets that garbage treatment, and like the league clearly doesn't care about themselves. I wish there was another league that they could all go to and play. Just to like, the only way that the NHL is going to listen if they make less money.
Yeah.
If they start losing, and again, I'm never going to another live NHL game, not until something changes. And whatever. It's just me. It's not it's not a big difference to them. But I'm hoping more people feel that way too. More and more bars are getting absolutely packed.
Oh, they are, yeah.
Like the season tickets, like they're not getting sold out as quickly as they were anymore. We're tired. Like I'm exhausted. I'm so tired of just trying to supporting a league that could not care less about us.
Spending so much money on mediocre reffing, just affecting the game a lot.
And there's a few refs out there that are fantastic.
Yes.
Wes McCauley, hilarious. And he's missed plays. Like, I'm not sitting here and telling you that like every call needs to be called. No, I literally just ask for consistency from one game to another and just start calling the rule book, man. Like, especially when it's in front of your face. Don't tell me that you can't see that. Like, don't give me that garbage, dude. Like, that's such an embarrassing excuse. Such an embarrassing excuse. Yeah, you know what? It's the position that the refs are in today. It's tough. Okay, let's not even kid ourselves. It is a tough position. You are reffing the most elite players in the world. They're all faster than you. They're all better than you. Honestly, you got to have a thick skin. Who cares if you're getting verbally abused? Like,
no, I'm saying,
if they go overboard, then give them a penalty.
Exactly.
But like something like, hey, Stripes, you're an idiot. Start calling stuff. Yeah, okay, you can't get offended by that, man. Come on. Like, yell it back at him. I don't care. Anyways, a press conference at the end of the game for referees, where they answered the media's question. I think that is one huge one.
Then they'll be held accountable.
I wouldn't say weekly performance reviews but at least once a month they sit down with like a high up official and go over every single one of their games and actually start calling things. And I do think if refs start missing stuff, they need to get suspended and it needs to be made public. This is
at least for like anything like major.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous how the officials have been getting away with murder for so long. Like, they say, oh, they're the best that we have in the world right now. I'm like, okay, prove it. Because this is absurd. This is not okay right now. And I don't even think it's all the refs' fault. I'm almost certain that the NHL is telling the refs what to call and what not to call at points. There's no way that all these guys miss everything like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that it's missed all the time. It has to be an NHL mandate. But anyways, I've said this on our podcast before, and I'll say it again. This new CBA, you need to negotiate three massive things. One, the medical situation with Jack Eichel. That cannot happen ever again. That's a joke.
Yeah.
Two, Department of Player Safety needs to get completely changed over, and they need to figure out set suspension criteria and everything. And three, the officiating. The officials need to be starting to be held accountable. The players need to negotiate that because the players are the ones that are suffering because of the incompetency of the officials. That has to be it. That has to be it. And then, what else? Vancouver. Big news out of Vancouver this week. They completely overhauled their front office and their coaches. I mean, about damn time. I saw at the beginning of the year, I thought they were going to be third.
I think lots of people actually thought they were going to be
they're an unbelievable team on paper. Their offense is elite. I honestly put their offense, in my opinion, is equivalent to that of Toronto, Winnipeg, and Edmonton. They're up there. From top to bottom, I would put them pretty damn top 10 in the league for sure in talent in their forward group. Their defense is unbelievably thin. I think they only have 6 NHL defensemen, and that's probably being generous. Probably 5 for sure, and then one number 7, like 3 number 7 fringe guys. And then their goaltending, in my opinion, Demko is exceptional goaltender, but when he has nothing to no help in front of him,
it's tough. Yeah,
it's a little bit of both. I think it is coaching because you saw the JT Miller interview.
Yeah, I was gonna say coaching needed to change for sure, but you can't have how many does Pedersen have? 3 goals in the last 10 games.
Oh, completely. Pedersen's just been has been nowhere.
Yeah,
Pedersen has not shown up at all this year.
Sure, we can put blame on the coaching and the GM, I guess. But the players, they have to step it up.
Yep,
they can't be playing like this if they want to make the playoffs.
Absolutely agree.
But you can't really do anything with the players. The quick fix is getting rid of the coach and getting rid of
the only reason that I think that there was an issue in that room with the coach is because of JT Miller's interview. I don't know if it was last week or the week prior. Just something about it to me, it showed that there was not really much of a care in the room. No. And that is a coach's response. I think that the coach lost his players, and I think it's really showed in their caliber of play. Now, I think a few different guys got fired this year. Hey, Lane Vigneault also got out of just recently out of Philly. I don't see Vigneault going there because he coached there he coached into the final. Bruce Boudreau. Yeah, that's actually good. Because Boudreau is more of a defensive-minded coach, and that's exactly what they need. Look, he'll be a good quick fix, but that team needs help. That team does need help. I really thought that their defense was going to be good enough to carry him, and I was completely wrong. It looks like, and I'm mad enough to admit when I'm wrong, and yeah, I was wrong completely. And then it's interesting because I'll be honest, Vancouver significantly outplayed Edmonton in the season opener. It wasn't even close. And Edmonton still came out with wins. And that's, honestly, of our 16 wins, I think we had 2 that we dominated from start to finish. 5 or 6 of them, we had no right to even be in that game, in those games. And then the others where it's it was a hard-fought game between the two, and we got lucky or something. But, you're not going to win in the playoffs playing like that.
It just helps that we have 2 of the best players, but we can't just rely on McDavid
100%.
and
100% agree. And people are going, we have injuries and okay, every team in the league.
Basically, yes, we did have basically an AHL decor
left side of the defense. Yeah,
but even with that, I think, in Pittsburgh, even though we like you said, we played crap for the first 1 or 2 periods, and then we just, I guess, destroyed them in the third. But they did held their own. They
held their own okay. I mean, they still gave up. They were out shooting us 2-1.
Yep.
They're getting a lot of shots on net still, and Mikko Koskinen played huge for us. He played that game, right? I'm pretty positive he played the Pittsburgh game. Yeah, he was huge for us, no question. But at the end of the day, you can't give up that many shots, and it's not 2 guys on the ice that are defending. No. It has to be all 5. And the key to a great offense is a great defense. If you keep it out of your zone, you're in their offensive zone the whole time. It's that's the best way of defending. right? And I guess I contradict myself a little bit there, just saying just keeping it but the 5 guys in the back need to be there. All 5 guys need to defend. And there's they're losing 70 to 80% of their one-on-one battles, and the only one that isn't losing every one-on-one battle is Hyman. Right?
Hyman is besides McDavid and Draisaitl being McDavid and Draisaitl, I think Hyman has been their best player.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he actually, like you said, he fights for the puck every single time, and then he's just there at the right time or at the right spot.
To me, what it looks like right now is that these guys know that they're good enough to make the playoffs just on their own right now, and they're not even trying that hard. Cruising. They're just cruising until you get there, and then they're oh, we'll shift it into another gear. And that could be completely wrong, and they all have pride, and they all want to do well all year, every year, you know what I mean? And they all want to win the cup, but I don't know, man. I just don't think that there's, I think we need 1 or 2 more veteran guys to come in. Have a veteran guy come in and take over the second line right wing spot over Yamamoto. You know what I mean? And have that presence to come in and just do all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But we need help. Yeah. We do need help. I think we need 1 more top 6 forward. Definitely a lefty. Definitely a lefty. And a third line center. Honestly, Skinner and Koskinen have done well enough for us. Just that tandem, and when Smith comes back, because when Smith came back from injury last year, he was also sensational. But between Skinner and Koskinen, we've had good enough goaltending to win us games. They didn't necessarily lose us games last little bit. Koskinen has lost us 2 games, but that's normal for Koskinen when he plays too much.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have Skinner and Koskinen playing 2 games on, 2 games off kind of thing, or even Smith and Koskinen, I honestly think the goaltending is good enough to make us to win us a few rounds. Let's just put it this way: our goaltending is better than the Chicago goaltending Tano of 2010 when they won the cup with Niemi. It was 2010, I think. Yeah, because 2008 was Detroit, 9 was Pittsburgh, and then 10 was right after.
It was the early 10s, yeah.
Yeah. Honest to God, I think between Smith, Koskinen, and Skinner, one of them can play better than Niemi. It's just they need to play more as a team, and they need to be better just overall, and they need to want it more.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier said than done as an outsider perspective. I can obviously understand that. Come on. But also, I was looking at some stats, Vegas odds, I guess. Montreal has a 0.00056 or 0056, anything, chance of winning the cup this year.
Oh, winning the cup, okay.
Yeah, or 0053. You have a 0.0056 chance of getting struck by lightning.
Wow.
You're better odds of getting struck by lightning than the Vancouver. Dang it, Vancouver too.
Montreal.
But Montreal Canadiens winning the cup.
Yeah.
Isn't that ridiculous?
That is pretty ridiculous.
That's so funny. What a downfall that is.
Anyways, back to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, their D has been pretty
bad.
Yeah. I was gonna be nice, but no, they're bad. And then their stars aren't playing where they're supposed to. But when JT Miller and Connor Garland are your best players, and you have 3 other players that are better than them, you can't really blame coaching on that. But
I don't necessarily think it's all coaching though.
No, yeah, it's all.
I think it's I honestly put it almost a little equal 50-50 in my opinion. I think the players should be significantly better, but I also do think that the coach did something to lose the dressing room.
Yes.
Whether it's justified or not, nobody knows. Nobody's in that room.
Yeah.
But I do think the coach lost the room.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, definitely.
Right. That's again, you look at the Flames. They're doing so well because their best players are their best players. Gaudreau, Tkachuk, and Lindholm are playing outstanding right now.
And then there's players that are just stepping up big time, like Mangiapane.
Could not agree more. Markstrom and Vladar are playing outstanding as well.
Shillington is playing.
Shillington has been fantastic. Too. Yeah. Right. But then you have but imagine if Tkachuk and Gaudreau and Lindholm weren't playing well. Well, we don't have to imagine that difficult because that was last year.
That was last year.
Right? So, I think Vancouver's a much better team that they're proving right now. Their best players aren't being their best players. Yeah. Think about the Oilers. If McDavid, Draisaitl, and who's our Nurse? Let's put Nurse up there. Okay. Our 3 best players, in my opinion, are those 3. If those 3 are playing like garbage, like the Pedersens, and then we're playing out in Vancouver, we would not have a winning record right now. No shot. Right? Like Toronto, Matthews, Tavares, Marner. If those 3 are playing like garbage, they did to start the season. They were like, what, 2-5? Toronto media started calling them out, saying that this team is a bust, trade everyone. And now they're doing significantly better because their players like step up. Honest to God, Bruce Boudreau will get the more out of their stars, and Canucks are going to start winning games. There's no question about that in my mind right now. But I genuinely, though, there's a blueprint on how to beat the Vancouver Canucks, and it's just destroy their defense. Expose their defense, and it's bad. I'm sorry. Like, they're still all playing in the NHL. They're still better than you and I combined times infinity.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's fair to just point out the truth. That is not a top half defense in the league. I would honestly put them in the bottom 10 for sure. Probably even bottom 5, even with the Oilers' injuries.
Yeah, no. Like I was gonna say like our defense isn't that amazing either, but it's because we have amazing offense that we can, and really good goaltending from Koskinen and Skinner, that we can kind of hide it a little bit, but it's still you can still definitely see it. I definitely
think our defense has been exposed. Our defense most certainly has been exposed the last few games. Like, there's no question. But like, that being said, like, the defense played well enough against Pittsburgh, and that's without our top 3 left D, right? So it's like, and that's with what Russell played, like Russell and Barry each played 26 minutes.
Yeah.
Fact of the matter is, genuinely, I think we need a different look. I think Barry needs to go. I think a different look there would make sense, just because of like the style of play that we need for that third pairing D. A new third pairing lefty as well. Like, I like Cuckoo and Russell, man, but they're not what they used to be anymore, right? They're both very solid number 7D, and they can come in and like, I love Russell because he can literally play top pairing for one game and just grind it out for the whole thing, or left and right side, like. But he's not a number 1 defenseman, right? So trade away Barry and Yamo. Get somebody to replace Yamo in the top 6 that's actually like a grinder, and that will get you like an energy bunny. Yamo was doing that for a while, but I don't know what happened to him. Yeah. It's stopped.
I was gonna say, like, I think like Holloway is gonna be coming back relatively soon.
With Holland, I don't see Holloway starting up here.
No, I don't think so. But like, if we were to like get trade like Yamo, and for some reason get like a defenseman, we can probably just like sneak Holloway in there just to.
We have pieces from the minors that we can call up, because like, I kind of like the whole calling guys up from the minors idea, because like, they're playing for their livelihood, man. Like, call somebody up from the minors and be like, this is your shot. Prove to me that you deserve to be here. And then they like, yeah, I think that's a huge possibility. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's the holes aren't necessarily huge, because you have your number 1 center.
It still needs to be filled, but it's not as huge as like a couple years ago.
100% agree, because we have the most important position, the top center and the top defenseman. I don't think many of us can argue. Even Draisaitl is a number 1 defenseman in every other team in the league, with the exception. Sorry, number 1 center.
He could probably play defenseman and play really well, but
right. But Draisaitl is the number 1 center of the 32 teams. Probably at least 28 of them. He's not the number 1 center in Colorado. And there can be arguments with respect to Toronto and Vegas now, Eichel.
Yes.
And I think that's really it. Like, no disrespect to anybody else, but I think that's how good Draisaitl is, and he can be, right? So we have 2 number 1 centers. We have a number 1 D. We don't have a superstar goalie, but we have competent enough goaltending that's getting us through games right now.
We have complementary pieces for our like best players.
Exactly, we have good, but it's like the chemistry of the team needs a little bit, and that's something that NHL 21 has taught me.
Chemistry.
On a serious note, though, it's like you need different looks of players up there.
Yeah,
we're just not.
We can't have all just skill. We need We need toughness.
It'll be It'll be interesting what we see in the future. Like, Ottawa's still not doing well again. Montreal's still doing terribly, unfortunately. Winnipeg's like middle of the pack now.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm sticking with my prediction. I still think 4 Canadian teams make the playoffs. And I think those 4 teams are pretty evident now. It's Winnipeg, Toronto, Edmonton, and Calgary. But I think the only team that doesn't necessarily need to step up a little bit is Calgary. I think they're actually playing out of their mind right now.
Basically, if they keep playing like they're playing right now, then sure, like they did lose last game. Yeah, but like they're playing really well that they can have like a couple losses here and there.
Yeah,
and then
I think Calgary's the biggest surprise for me in the league right now. Calgary, they're playing really well, and Sutter's got them working hard.
Oh yeah,
and they will not be outworked by anyone in the league right now. And that's like the mentality the Oilers need right now. But I think Calgary's the only one that can be like, okay, listen, man, you guys are playing out of your mind right now. Keep up what you're doing. I think Edmonton needs to be like, hey, you guys, everybody needs to step up. This is getting ridiculous.
Everyone needs to just start
trying.
First second of the game.
Yeah.
You have to
Winnipeg,
start.
I think they can get more out of some of their players for sure.
Yeah,
definitely. And then same with Toronto. I still think that like they can still get more from their top players. So it'll be interesting. I don't see a Canadian team winning the Cup this year. No, but I see Canada breaking the streak within the next 3 years.
I can see them breaking the streak in the next 3 years. Winning the Cup, as much as I hate, like I was gonna say either of these teams, but like the way like Campbell is playing and Hall is playing,
they're not making it past the first round.
I hope they don't.
Until they win in the first round, they are not to be expected to get out of that first round. I'm sorry. That's at least my opinion. They're a good team, and I think they're one of the better teams in the East. Don't get me wrong.
Like basically, if they beat their demons and get past the first round, they might have a really good chance.
Let's just put it this way: Toronto is not going to be able to beat. They have to beat.
I was
Tampa,
yes,
Florida, and Carolina likely to make it just to the final. That's not happening.
No. So the only way Canada will win is our 3 teams in the West.
I think Edmonton and Calgary are the 2 with the best chance.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I guess obviously
unless
super
there's a battle
biased
over
Edmonton
it in the first round, but
I don't see it happening. I see Edmonton Calgary finishing 1-2 in no particular order. Maybe it's Calgary then Edmonton, or Edmonton Calgary, whatever it is. Like they could be interchangeable, but I do think they've proven that they're the top 2 teams in the Pacific. They'll continue it. Edmonton has been not good at all, and they're still second place in the Pacific.
Winning.
Actually, points percentage is still ahead of Calgary, right? Like
they haven't been playing good, but they're still winning. So it's just we just have to see them play at their best, and then they could, if they play their best, then they can definitely.
I'll just put it this way: we haven't seen Edmonton's best yet.
No,
at all. I don't think we have seen Toronto's best, and that's against Colorado. That game that they played against Colorado last week or the week before, outstanding. They completely dominated the whole thing. We've already seen Calgary's best. I think that's like the ceiling, and that is a very good hockey club. And I don't yet think we've seen the best of Winnipeg.
We haven't seen the best of Edmonton, no.
And Edmonton, most certainly not. We've seen our worst.
Yes.
And it's been bad. And we're still winning somehow, but whatever. Anyways.
Yeah.
I can talk about this and officiating until I'm blue in the face. I might at some point. We'll see. This week, it's going to be different. It's going to be. They have to really step up
this week with their next 4 games is huge. Really tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, anything else you want to add about the NHL?
We touched on Vancouver. We touched on slow starts in Edmonton, and then basically Toronto is playing well. Calgary's playing well.
Mm-hmm.
That's
about it.
All about it. Yeah.
Cool. Well. Thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 10 of the Can-Ass podcast. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you later on this week with some midweek episodes.
See ya.